Hey guys, welcome to Bibarel 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝑮𝑳. Today with a Blazing Ice Caps feature new Cetitan from Scarlet and Violet with a super cool sweeping tackle attack doing 200 base damage, minus 10 more for each damage counter on this Pokemon for 1 water and 2 colorless. So how do we tank as much damage with this Pokemon? We have our Pot Helmet to reduce 30 more damage. We're only playing 1 copy though, but if we have damage counters on this Pokemon, if our opponent chooses not to knock out our Cetitan and then do a boss, constantly knocking out for 1 price on our bench Pokemon after denying us the damage with sweeping tackle, we can actually play Wobbuffet to place damage counter on opponent's active Pokemon equal to the number of damage counters on Cetitan, which would be on our bench if we attack with Wobbuffet, and then eventually they would have to deal with either the Wobbuffet or the Cetitan. If they knock out the Wobbuffet, we get to at least still do big damage with our revenge using Druddigon for 160 damage for only 1 fire and 1 water. If one of our Pokemon gets knocked out during our opponent's last turn, we get to do 120 more damage with this attack plus 40 base, which is a total of 160 damage, which is not a lot, but it can actually add up for the knockout because we're not actually doing that much damage with our Mirror Pain as well, since we are only able to tank up to 70 damage counters with our Cetitan. So Wobbuffet can only do up to 170 damage or 17 damage counter placement on your opponent's active, plus 160 would be enough to kill a VMAX or even an EX or a V-Star. We also have our sweeping tackle to do big damage as well just before it gets knocked out. 180 HP is not a lot though, so even if they knock it out, we get to play Druddigon on the next turn or just get another one ready to attack by satisfying the attack cost doing sweeping tackle a second time. So how do we attach enough energy to attack with this Pokemon? We need 1 water and 2 colorless, and that's actually pretty difficult just because, you know, we don't have Frostmoth anymore in standard right now. We are playing instead our Armarouge from the same set, Scarlet and Violet, doing Fire Off, using its ability to basically transfer any amount of fire energy from our bench onto the active. With Magma Basin, we actually get an extra energy, extra colorless into play onto our active to attack with sweeping tackle. That's actually not enough though, because we need 2 colorless. So we are playing our experience share to basically attach it onto our Armarouge, retrieving those energy onto that Pokemon. So if our first Cetitan gets knocked out, it actually gets we get 1 extra energy transferred back onto Armarouge with the experience share, and then on the next turn we can immediately do Magma Basin, attach 1 water from our hand onto the active Cetitan, and then transfer those 2 fire energy from our bench Armarouge into the active. And that's actually enough, exactly enough to satisfy the sweeping tackle attack cost for 200 damage every single turn non-stop. So that's actually very, very powerful. Don't underestimate Magma Basin with experience share, using your Armarouge to transfer those energies, fire energies, into your active. So it has to be fire. Make sure you do not retrieve your water energy. Do not move your water energy onto your Armarouge from your Cetitan after your opponent knocks it out in the active. If you move the water energy, you would not be able to move it into the active. Fire Off only works for fire energies on the bench. You only get to move fire energies onto your active Pokemon, so do not use experience share for water energies. So we can also attach experience share onto Cetitan, but we want to be using Pot Helmet or Defiance Band, helping us collect an extra knockout easy, because Defiance Band actually allows us 30 extra damage. If we have more prize cards remaining than our opponent, we actually get to do an instant knockout against Miraidon EX, against Koraidon EX, any other basic EX or basic V cards that actually can do big damage, like Raikou V, and are not actually, is not supposed to evolve. We can actually do a straight knockout like against Zacian V as well, and that's going to help us a lot in the game because we're going to be able to draw prizes a lot faster, and that actually counts a lot to winning the game. We also have our regular setup cards for VIP Pass, for Nest Ball, for Ultra Ball to draw cards with Bibarel. So since we're not playing 𝑬𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒍, we need the bench spot for our second Cetitan on the bench, second Cetoddle, and we also need Armarouge obviously with Bibarel and Greninja, so we don't actually have the space for 𝑬𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒍. We could actually bench it with Manaphy as well, but I chose not to play those cards for this deck just because we want to be having more supporter cards and more items so that we get to make the deck a lot more consistent. So since we are playing 2 Bibarels without 𝑬𝒄𝒂𝒓𝒄𝒍, we need 4 Ultra Balls to be able to discard our hand so that we get to draw cards with Bibarel over and over. We also have our 12 copies of energies, 7 basic fire, 4 basic water, and also 1 V-Guard to help us tank a bit more damage with our Cetitan. Fire, we need a lot of copies just because we need to discard it early with our Greninja and Ultra Ball so that we get to play our Magma Basin for us to use Fire Off as early as possible to attack with Cetitan. Cetitan, which is our main primary attacker for this deck. We want to be attacking with Sweeping Tackle first before we do, before we're able to hit extra damage with our Revenge, or even before we're able to use Mirror Pain. So we have to actually attack with Cetitan first, and that's the reason we need to discard our energies fast. If we discard our water energy though, we have Klara to retrieve it back, so we don't really need to worry too much. We have 4 copies as well. We have 2 copies of Raihan to help us retrieve that water, reattach it from the discard pile onto our Cetitan, or even Druddigon to help us attack instantly while doing Fire Off with Magma Basin. We got 3 extra energy in a single turn if we play Raihan. If we play Experience Share as well, it's the same thing. We're playing 2 copies of Experience Share with 1 Arven to search for our tool card and also an item card. We can search for our Defiance Band, Pot Helmet as well. With the balls, we are playing a lot of balls in this deck. 1 Great Ball, 4 Ultra Ball, 1 Arezu to get our evolution, so that we get to evolve not just Armarouge and Cetitan, which is the main combo for this deck, but also our Bibarel for the draw support. Next, for our switch cards, we're playing 1 Furisode Girl to bench a basic while also putting it into the active. If we play this with Druddigon or even our Wobbuffet, we get to transfer the energy from our bench with Armarouge while attaching a water from our hand to satisfy the attack cost, doing Mirror Pain or Revenge immediately after our Cetitan gets knocked out. We actually get to play those basic Pokemons and attack with it instantly using Furisode Girl, or we can actually play Escape Rope as well. We're playing 1 copy of it to help us switch out from the active spot if we get stuck with a Bibarel in the active. If they do a boss on the wrong Pokemon, if we can't attack with Bibarel in the active, obviously we have to switch it out with our Escape Rope or Furisode Girl. Finally, we're also playing 1 boss and 1 Serena to target any Pokemons on the bench. If they actually retreat to the bench after we did 200 damage, we may not be able to do a straight knockout with Cetitan, even with the Defiance Band, just because they may play an EX or a V-Star with high HP, and that means we need to play boss to basically strike it a second time for the knockout if they switch to the bench and attack with a new Pokemon. So that's all for the deck list. Now let's go for some gameplay and see how well this deck works. Okay, let's go for our first game versus Gardevoir EX. We got our Growlithe card sleeve and also the Alolan Vulpix coin representing our Ice type Cetitan, and also Armarouge Fire using its ability to charge up our colorless cost, doing Sweeping Tackle for 200 damage. And we also have our Winter deck box for Cetitan. So we're gonna go first, which is ideal because we get to evolve on our second turn and attack first, which is what we want for this game. Let's put Cetoddle into the active, and we got Bibarel as well in our hand, which is great. We got Arezu helping us evolve the Armarouge. We actually need triple evolution though. We need the Armarouge, Cetitan, and Bibarel, so we need quite a lot of things. If we don't get Bibarel early, we got Greninja to fall back on for the draw support, so I feel like we should still be fine if we get just like 1 Ultra Ball or maybe a Great Ball with an Ultra. So Great Ball for the Armarouge. It's not always possible to get anything with a Great Ball, but if you have about 17 Pokemons in your deck, as I've keep saying for this in my videos, if you have at least 17 Pokemons in your deck, it's actually worth playing Great Ball because you have a high chance of getting an evolutions. I'm not sure why, but the numbers just work. So we got Charcadet, which is pretty lucky, but we do have a lot of balls though. We are playing 4 Nest Ball, 4 VIP Pass, and you know, Level Ball. I think we have 3 Nest Ball and 1 Level Ball. My bad. And 4 Ultra Balls as well for Bibarel. So it shouldn't be that difficult for us to get our basics early. We have to bench a lot of things. So I don't think they got a second routes though. They are playing Fog Crystal, Level Ball with Nest, so they should really be getting something. But apparently they didn't get. They are playing a lot of energies though, so makes sense for them to get nothing but energies on the first turn. They would actually, you know, they are playing stage 2 as well, so it may actually be more likely for them to get like rare candies with Gardevoir in their hand on the first turn if they don't play enough of those you know, balls, if they don't have enough Level Ball, Nest Ball, VIP Pass in their deck. So this game is all about consistency. If you can somehow find a way to make your deck hyper consistent, then you got an easy win. If you don't you know, add enough cards in your deck for a good setup, then well, you can't really, there's no way that you can actually survive the game. So it's actually pretty difficult. So we got our Ultra Ball for another Cetoddle. Oh, we actually got the Greninja, my bad. And we're gonna draw with Bibarel now. We need the Basin and a Fire Energy. So we discarded a Fire, but we couldn't get a second copy. If we got another energy in our hand, we could have done Sweeping Tackle to basically force them to play the Zacian on the next turn. I'm not sure if they attached the energy from their hand, because they did they did Roar of the Sword on the last turn, so they could have actually easily knocked us out in the active with the Zacian if they had 2 energies already. I can't really see the screen right now, sorry. So I'm actually not sure if they have 2 energies already attached. But we couldn't actually kill off the Ralts. If we did knock out the Ralts though, it would be pretty epic. Because we have 4 Basins in his deck and like so many energies. For this game, I don't think we have a V-Guard. I think we have 7 basic fire with 4 basic water. And Gardevoir plays a lot more energies, because they need to discard them fast. There we go. They got Rare Candy or Gardevoir in your hand. So it would actually make sense for them to get their energies a lot faster than we do. They are playing a stage 2 though. It's all about the numbers, guys. It's all about the numbers. How many copies of each card that you choose to play in your deck matters so much. It counts to the entire build. It can actually make the deck a lot more consistent if you have a lot more item cards in the deck as well for you to search. If they play Bayonet though, you never know what's gonna happen. If they do item lock on you, you're basically screwed. So if anyone isn't familiar with the new card Bayonet EX, it has the Eternal Darkness attack. For 1 psychic cost, you get to lock your opponent from playing item cards from their for that 1 turn though. Only for 1 turn, but they can't actually play item cards. And there's no supporter cards to actually remove that effect. Because it's actually an effect on the player, it's not the effect on the Pokemon. And we don't actually have Pokemon Ranger back in standard yet. We have no Channeler either. So there's not really any supporter card or any other abilities stadium that actually helps you remove effects of your opponent's Pokemon done to the player itself. We used to have Channeler for Sun and Moon. For Sword and Shield we had nothing. For before Sun and Moon we had Pokemon Ranger. Okay, they just knocked out our Cetitan with the bloody Ralts in the active after evolving into the EX. And now we're forced to play our Revenge for only 160 damage, but it will actually count for the final knockout eventually. We gotta be careful with Gardevoir though, because they have Emergency Jelly, but I don't think they can heal enough damage. All we need to do is either hit it with 200 damage or 160 at a time, and then we got a knockout, right? If we did Sweeping Tackle on the last turn, all we need is to do a boss with our Druddigon to finish off the Gardevoir EX on the bench by pulling it out into the active. So we got Ultra Ball. We're just gonna search for another Cetitan or Cetoddle. I think we already evolved that one. Oh no, we haven't evolved it yet. Pretty sure we benched it this turn, my bad. No energies. We attached the water though. Didn't get the Raihan either. So Great Ball for nothing unfortunately, but we already have we don't have the evolution yet. So we should have played the Great Ball on the next turn. Not sure why we played the Great Ball that early. Okay, here comes the second Gardevoir. They could quite easily just draw cards with Kirlia, play the Cresselia. Do they have enough discarded energies though? They need to discard enough energies. They can retreat to discard 2. and that means they just need to discard a couple more to transfer all of those damage counters onto the Druddigon. They got only a max of 12 damage counters though, but they get to choose whichever Pokemon to place those damage counters on. And they actually chose the Armarouge on the bench because they knew we were making use of its ability to charge up our Pokemon. It is our main energy system, and they're trying to take out our energy mechanic so that we actually get deprived of energy. And we got no second, we don't have a second Charcadet on the bench. So it would actually make a lot of sense for them to target our Armarouge. We got the second attack. So if they choose not to knock out our Pokemon, if they don't have a knockout this turn, we can still play the 3 energy attack for 120 damage, knocking out the Cresselia in the active. But we should be thinking about doing the Basin. If they don't target the Armarouge, we should be playing the Basin and then attach the energy onto our Cetoddle, preparing for the evolution. So they probably are going to target the Armarouge though, and if they do, we can't actually play the Basin. If we play the Basin, we have to put 2 more damage counters on that Pokemon. And if we put any more damage counters on our Armarouge, it's gonna just die. So we have to play the experience share now. We can't actually use Basin at all from here on out. If they somehow play another Cresselia, which I don't think they're going to, then we would actually need to bring out a second, our second copy of the Armarouge. We would either need to play Klara or to evolve another copy on the bench. We got the Klara, so we shouldn't be too worried. We got another energy. Are we gonna play Greninja? We can't actually play. We can't use the ability. If we use the ability, we're gonna end up playing the Basin and knock. We're gonna just knock out the Armarouge with the ability. Sorry, with the Stadium card. I'm not sure why I'm taking so long. We should be attaching the Defiance Band onto one of the Cetoddle and just attack with the Druddigon right now. We haven't played the Bibarel yet. Got more balls. Got the Ultra Ball for our Cetitan. Let's keep it for the next turn, because you never know if your opponent is going to do a boss. If they do a boss though, we got Revenge Druddigon doing 160 damage every single turn. So it's still not that bad. Because if they don't do a boss, if they knock out Druddigon, we need 3 energies on the next turn. We just need 2, honestly, because we have our experience share, but it's not quite easy to attach 2 though. If we don't get a Raihan, we don't actually have the attack. We can't actually do a knockout. So Titan needs 2 more energies. Sky Seal Stone for Zacian. Pretty standard. They got a very meta God of War EX deck. The only thing though I think they don't have in their deck, maybe they have it priced, is the Emergency Jelly. Because I don't see the Emergency Jelly anywhere throughout the whole game. Maybe they discarded it with a research or something? I'm not too sure. I have no idea how God of War EX gets the research so early in a game. I feel like they are playing no other supporter cards. Maybe they have like 4 research and 2 boss and no other supporters. Is that the reason why they're getting the research so early? Can someone please tell me why God of War always ends up getting a research on the first turn? God of War and Miraidon always get the research on the first turn. Why? That's so unfair. Temple of Sinnoh. The only special energy that we have in the deck is V-Guard, and we don't actually have it for this game, so we don't need to worry about the stadium. They need to play stadium cards, because if your opponent has Path to the Peak, God of War can't use the ability. An easy counter though is Pumpkaboo, but I don't think it's wise to waste a bench spot just to discard the stadium. Because we don't have, we no longer have Scoop Up Net, so we can't actually remove Pumpkaboo from the bench spot. It's not that easy to remove Pokemons now. We used to have Scoop Up Net, and that's actually helping us deny our opponent an extra prize with cards like Sableye or Radiant Greninja. So that used to be a big thing. Scoop Up Net, not just to recycle the ability, the ability that works only as you evolve the Pokemon, but also to remove it from the bench so that your opponent can't actually target that Pokemon after using the ability. Like a Pumpkaboo. Alrighty, we're just gonna put the Cetoddle right now. We should be using the one without the Defiance Band and saving the one with the tool card for later for the Zacian. So we got the Klara, we got Arven. I'm not actually too sure what we can do right now. If we have a Charcadet though, if we have a Charcadet, we could have done Basin onto the Charcadet and then fire off to the active. So you don't actually need to Basin onto the Armarouge. If you have too much damage counters on your Armarouge, if you played it too many times, you can actually bench a second Charcadet and then fire off from that Pokemon from your basic into the active. So it doesn't have to be the same Pokemon. It can be other bench Pokemons that you're moving into the active. We're just gonna fingers crossed for a Raihan right now. If we don't get a Raihan, we would be totally screwed. I think we should be attaching the Fire Energy right now before playing Bibarel's ability. That would allow us to possibly get another energy for Greninja to draw more cards. If we draw with Bibarel right now, we would only get to, we would possibly only get to draw 4 cards. If we attach the energy, we got triple draw with Bibarel, possibly another 2 more if we get an energy. There we go. We got the energy. Let's hope we can somehow get the Raihan. There we go. We got the Raihan and we actually got a knockout this turn. And that's going to guarantee us a knockout on the next as well because we got experience share. We got a second copy of experience share in our hand. We just need to play it onto the Greninja or the Bibarel. And we get to retrieve, we get to move 2 basic fire from our Cetitan after the knockout, 1 each onto our bench. And that means on the next turn, we got 2 fire to satisfy the attack cost for our second Cetitan. Right after the first one gets knocked out. So that's the power of experience share and Armarouge. We don't actually need the Basin. Surprise, surprise. Double experience share is all we need. Are we going to put it on the Bibarel or the Greninja? Greninja has 10 more HP. So I'm just going to put it on the Greninja. Because even if they play a Cresselia, at least we got another, we got another tank with Greninja. 12 damage counters is not enough with Cresselia to knock out, to basically discard the experience share from play. Unless if they have like a lost vacuum, that would be an entire different story. And we got 200 damage to knock out the active Gardevoir for another 1 prize. That Growlithe card sleeve is looking fine. It's looking fire. Okay, here comes the Zacian. This is the best turn ever though. This is like by far the best decision I've made in PTCG. The next turn. So they're now gonna knock out our Greninja. And because they know that we had the Defiance Band and the experience share, so if we just play a Klara, we already got the knockout with the second Cetoddle. But right now, we actually get to attack with the Cetoddle, right? We can still use the Cetoddle by playing the Klara and firing off 2 of the fire energy on our bench into the active. All we need to do is retrieve 1 evolution and 1 water energy. attach it to the active, and then use the ability to transfer the fire energy into the active, and we got the knockout. It's quite a simple decision, but honestly, this is like I feel like the best decision I've made in PTCG. It's a very simple decision, honestly. And we actually made a misplay here. Surprisingly, we made a misplay because we should have retrieved the Druddigon. If we retrieved the Druddigon right now, in addition to the Cetitan, we would have gotten an easy win after this, because we already have a second Cetoddle on the bench. We should not be getting another Cetoddle. That makes no sense. We should be getting either a Wobbuffet or our Druddigon. It would be a done deal if we have another Druddigon. So there we go. We got 1 water from our hand and 2 fire from the bench. We got an easy knockout on the Zacian for another 2 prize. That's grand. We got Escape Rope. We got too many fire energy in our hand though. 230 damage. Solid. And now we just need to finish off 1 EX. How are we able to do that though? Can we manage to pull out the boss at the right time? If we get the boss at the perfect moment, we would have a straight knockout. Because we actually did quite a lot of damage on the Gardevoir on the bench. We did hammer in on the Ralts before it evolved, and then we did revenge on the Gardevoir EX, and now it has like 20 plus damage counters on it, including, you know, in addition to the ability that it used. And they're helping us with a Roxanne, so let's hope we get boss on the next turn. So if we benched a Druddigon on the last turn, it would be an easy win from here, because if they knock out the Cetoddle after we did sweeping, we're gonna do sweeping tackle on the next turn for sure. It's gonna be an easy turn. It's gonna be easy damage because we have the experience share and we just need 1 fire from our hand. So Cetitan on the bench right now. Our next active Cetitan is gonna do 200 damage on the active Gardevoir, and then all we need to do after that is play the Druddigon for revenge. If they knock out the Druddigon, if they do a boss on the Druddigon and knock it out, we got sweeping tackle, a second strike to do 200 more damage to finish off the second Gardevoir or even the first one, whichever one that they use. We got 2 prize for the win. So if we had only retrieved the Druddigon with the Klara, we would have gotten an easy win. But now we actually need to dig for the boss. I'm not sure why we played the Arven first. We should have definitely played the Bibarel to dig for the boss. But we just played the Arven for some reason, which is very, very stupid. And we actually did draw out the boss. So I'm not sure why I did that. Because all we need is 1 boss and 1 energy. If we got 1 boss and 1 energy from Bibarel, we would have gotten the win. Right there. So we're just going to play the Pot Helmet right now. Deny them the knockout. Bad thing about Pot Helmet is that if you don't have Wobbuffet, I think we have Wobbuffet prize. I'm not sure about what's happening for this game, because I don't see Wobbuffet in the discard pile either. So if we have it prized, we should have actually played the heavy ball for the Wobbuffet, because we just need 2 energies to charge up the Wobbuffet. And look at that, we have a boss in our hand. We couldn't play it. How stupid is that? Okay. They can't knock out the active, and we got only 50 damage on the next turn though, because we got no heal cards for this deck. We get to still play hammer in for 50 damage, but they're probably going to do emergency jelly though. That's the reason I say we should have done the Druddigon, because 50 damage is actually not enough. If they got the jelly, we're done for. So they got only 160 damage in the game, thanks to the Pot Helmet. And now we're only doing 40 damage with Sweeping Tackle, because we actually are forced to play We're hitting 10 less damage for each damage counter on our Cetitan. So might as well just play Hammer in. We got the Basin, we got Boss. But we don't have the knockout against the bench Gardevoir because we're not doing enough damage. So we should be saving the boss for later. We have no choice. Escape Rope's not going to help us. Unless if they trap our Bibarel. We're just going to play the Basin just to empty our hand. And play the boss with Bibarel on the next turn. Because we could actually draw out another Stadium on the next turn. If they play a Stadium, if they do another Stadium, we can quite easily discard the Stadium by playing it from our hand on the next turn. You know, planning ahead is very important. So we need another energy. We need another fire energy on our bench Cetitan with the boss. We don't really need the boss anymore because we got more than enough energies, more than enough damage with the bench Cetitan, but they actually are going to pull out the boss right now. They're going to do a boss on the bench Cetitan, finish it off, and now we only have 50 damage in the game. But we actually have enough damage to finish off the bench Gardevoir if they don't play the Jelly. If they do the Jelly, we're done for. So this game was actually pretty close. It was quite a surprise that they don't have the emergency Jelly for that long in the game. I'm quite surprised that they got it prized. Maybe they're not even playing it for this game. I don't know. That's the reason I say if we had the Druddigon, if that was a Druddigon, it would have been a done deal. We don't need the Pot Helmet anymore. We just need to play Sweeping Tackle and wait for one or the other to get knocked out. And we got an easy EX knockout on the next turn. It would have been a straightforward win. But we made a terrible misplay with the Klara. Oh well, nothing we can do about it though. We're learning from our mistakes and we're becoming better as a player. And that's all that matters, right? Progression. We won against Gardevoir EX just because they didn't get the Jelly at the right time. Which was pretty lucky. It would have been a dire mistake if they did play the Jelly. So we got our Alolan Vulpix coin ready to show off our Cetitan against Koraidon EX. We're up against Koraidon now. They're playing a Lucario V-Star, Great Tusk, and Koraidon. So a lot of EXs means Choice Belt isn't actually going to give us a knockout. Choice Belt is not going to do much, but they are hitting 50 damage. Great Tusk is actually doing 50 damage to itself each time it uses the 250 damage attack. And taking that much recoil is going to help us do an easy knockout. They do have the Rock Chestplate though. We have to be careful about Koraidon decks because they are playing Rock Chestplate to reduce even more damage. So we actually can't, we're not able to knock out the Koraidon with one hit, even with the Defiance Band if they have the Rock Chestplate in play. If they use the tool card, we don't have the knockout. Here comes Lucario on the bench. So they're doing, they're using the V-Star for insta knockout for one insta kill. Aura Star for 70x damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. 70x is a lot. 70x with Silvery Snow Star, Alolan Vulpix V-Star, 70x for your Lucario. So if your opponent has like 5 energies in play, if they play Lugia V-Star, 4 energies in play, you got 280 damage. You got a V-Star knockout easy with your Lucario, and all you need is 2 fighting energies, which is kind of pretty difficult to get. It's quite difficult to attach fighting energy at the moment. We have nothing but Gutsy Pickaxe, Clay Doll, and Koraidon, and you actually have to waste one turn just to attach the energy with Koraidon, and that's the reason not many people like playing Koraidon. And you don't really see it in the meta. because you only get to use it on the first turn, right? After the first turn with Diancie, if you're lucky enough to get Diancie on the first turn, or the switch, you could actually save yourself that one turn while attaching energy to prepare for your next. We played Koraidon with Ursaluna though. That was actually a pretty solid deck that we built for the last video. We had Slowbro for the recovery and Rock Chestplate with Lake Acuity to tank damage with Ursaluna, reducing 30 more with his ability. So that's like a huge tank with crazy recovery using Slowbro with Emergency Jelly. So if you guys are not familiar with Slowbro, is that it has an ability that allows you to move damage counters, any amount of damage counters from your other Pokemon onto that Slowbro as often as you like. And you're actually allowed to knock out Slowbro with that ability, because it is that oblivious. You can move up to 9 damage counters on the Slowbro. If you move 10, you're doing a knockout on yourself and you're giving your opponent an extra prize. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's not. You never know. Because if they have less prize remaining, you get to use Defiance Band for the extra effect. If they have less prize remaining, you get to use, if they have 3 or less prize remaining, you get to play Roxanne. So you get to use Slowbro for the counter effects, I suppose. While also recovering damage from your other Pokemon, which is pretty cool, right? You get to control the prize for you to possibly play cards like Reversal Energy on the next set. We got Reversal Energy coming out for Paldea Evolve, which I'm super excited about. You get to use the energy. Is basically a merge between Triple XL and Counter Energy, right? So you have 3 Rainbow Energies. Is a special energy that acts as Triple Rainbow, but it only works as Triple Rainbow if it's attached to evolution Pokemons, and if your opponent has less prize remaining than you do. So it's not that easy to play the Reversal Energy. It has a lot of restrictions, but if you can make it work, it would be super interesting, because it's like Triple Rainbow. Come on, it's like 1 energy for Triple Rainbow. That's insane. That's just fucking, I'm speechless. I don't think you get to attach to any other Pokemon though. You can only attach to a evolution Pokemon, a non-rule box evolution Pokemon. If you're not actually allowed to attach it to any other Pokemons. So we got 200 damage. I don't think, oh, they have a Rock Chestplate in play, so we're only doing 170 this turn, unfortunately. And we couldn't knock out the Koraidon even after doing Hammer In on the last turn. That's pretty sad. We only did 20 damage though on the last turn. Even if we did 50, it would still not be enough. So that's the power of Rock Chestplate. 30 reduction is the new Galarian Chestplate, right? What's it called again? Is it actually Galarian Chestplate? Oh yes, it is. It only works for Pokemon with Galarian in its name. It works for Slowking. It works for Zapdos, Articuno, Moltres, which is pretty exciting. It works for Galarian Mr. Rime as well, reducing 30 damage from your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks. From all of your opponent's attacks actually. Even if it's on a bench, it still works. Same thing for Rock Chestplate. So they're actually playing a dual Lucario deck, using the one prize Lucario with Aura Sphere Volley and also the V-Star, which is quite interesting because they can tank a lot of damage with Koraidon, buying a lot of time while doing big damage with Wild Impact and playing Aura Star for big damage early game before getting enough energies onto the one prize Lucario from slowly attaching 1 energy at a time from their deck, using the ability and possibly another one from their hand or a Gutsy Pickaxe, so eventually having a huge knockout late game by slowly attaching energy 1 turn at a time onto the Lucario on the bench. So if you don't do a boss to deal with the one price Lucario, eventually they got an easy knockout against a VMAX, against a V-Star, against your high HP EX. So they got huge damage with Aura Sphere Volley late game. And if you actually do a boss on the Lucario, you're only getting one prize while they get to do big damage with their EX and the V-Star. So they're buying time with, either way. They're buying more time to attach energies onto their other Pokemons. And all they need is one Dino Cry. They just need to play Dino Cry once, and then possibly Raihan Gutsy Pickaxe for the extra energy, while putting the pressure on you to knock out the Lucario on the bench. So it's a very, very interesting strategy. And I'm liking it. I'm loving it. Except I don't actually see any Raihans though. I see Gutsy Pickaxe, but I don't see Raihan, which is a bit sad. Oh well. It has potential though. Tanking while getting energies. Lucario is a ticking time bomb. It's a crazy fucking ticking time bomb waiting to explode on you. If you don't do a boss, they got a massive knockout. But we're not playing any, high price liabilities for this deck. We have no EX, no VMAX. So we're playing a one price deck. We don't really need to worry about Lucario as yet. We just need to somehow finish off the EX for extra prizes. That's our main priority. And now we got 230 damage against the Koraidon. I don't think we're knocking it out though, because they got the rock chestplate. Oh, do they not have the chestplate? I'm not actually too sure. I think they attached the chestplate onto both of the Koraidon on the bench, and now they don't have one. Here comes the Lucario. A bit too early. They don't need that much energies anyway, right? They just need 3 energies. There's no point for them to get more than that. And they're just gonna finish off our Cetitan this turn. We got Druddigon, we don't need to worry. They have no energies on the next turn. I feel like we got the win here. You never know when they're gonna do a Raihan though. You never know when they're gonna play Gutsy Pickaxe Raihan for the extra energy. They may just somehow magically show up with Lucario V-Star. They just need 2 energies though for Aura Star. They haven't played their V-Star power yet. They can even play the Great Tusk for Bedrock Breaker before hitting for big damage. So only 50 could actually deny us the knockout with our sweeping tackle. They are reducing the damage that we're doing for each damage counter on Cetitan. So we gotta be careful about that. That's the reason we have one Wobbuffet and one Druddigon for this deck. Unfortunately, I'm not able to play Wobbuffet though. I'm not sure why, but Wobbuffet is actually not doing anything for this deck. Because normally they got the knockout on Cetitan anyways. Cetitan is not actually tanking enough damage to prevent a knockout, even with the Pot Helmet. So I feel like we need League Acuity if we want to build a tanky Cetitan deck. But I don't see the point, because if you don't heal the damage, if you don't play enough Wobbuffets, there is no point tanking that much damage with your Cetitan. So that's the reason we're playing Magma Basin instead, with Armarouge to help out with the energies. If we have 1 experience share on Armarouge, we got enough energies to satisfy the attack cost every single turn. We get to play sweeping tackle over and over non-stop, and that's the ideal case for a heavy cost attacker. If we need 1 water and 2 colorless, and there is nothing in format right now to satisfy the water costs, to basically help out with attaching water energies, and that's the reason we're playing Armarouge to help us charge up for the colorless cost. So if we have reversal energy, it actually works on Cetitan. You can actually play reversal for Luxray, for Cetitan. It's going to be very interesting when it comes out for the next set. Can't wait for it, honestly. We do have to wait for them to have less price remaining, so it's still it's kind of a counter strategy. It's not really a solid one. Make sure you don't play too many copies, because I don't think that many reversal energy is healthy for a deck. If you play like 4 reversal energy and you're not able to use like more than 2, there's just no point, right? I feel like 3 copies is smart, because if you play only 2 copies, you may just not get it into your hand. We have nothing but Energy Lotto right now to search for our special energies, so it's not quite easy for us to get it out into to attach it fast. We don't really need to worry about attaching it that early though, because we need to wait for them to draw prize cards first before we're able to use the reversal energy for... It works really well for decks like 𝑽𝒊𝒐𝒂𝒓𝒍𝒕, right? 𝑽𝒊𝒐𝒂𝒓𝒍𝒕 is not drawing any prize cards at all. So if your opponent is knocking out 𝑽𝒊𝒐𝒂𝒓𝒍𝒕 one at a time, it would be actually the perfect fit. Anyways, let's focus on the game right now. So we got Furisode from the prize. And Furisode is actually only going to help if we have Wobbuffet inside the deck or Druddigon still in the deck. And we don't have rods for standard right now. We have it on the next set. We're going to get Super Rod, which is an item to shuffle back Pokemon back into the deck, which is really nice because Miriam is a supporter. If you play Miriam on your turn, you're not allowed to do Raihan, you're not allowed to play Serena or Boss. You can't actually use your power supporter cards, and that means, you know, you're not allowed to use those effects in addition to shuffling back your Pokemons, which is not ideal. That's the reason I don't like Miriam as an option for shuffling back Pokemons. It's good because it helps you shuffle back more than usual, more than the normal amount, but I don't think you should be relying on, you know, just the Miriam to shuffle back Pokemons. You should have at least 1 Rod in the deck, right? We have Super Rod for the next set, which is going to be a lot more different from the ordinary Rod that we're used to for Sword and Shield. So let's hope that's not going to be that difficult to play. I'm not actually too sure. I think you're actually allowed to shuffle back 3 in any combination of Pokemon or basic energy into the deck. And it could be better than ordinary Rod. For example, if you just need the energy, if you just need to shuffle back Pokemons, for example, if you just need the evolutions, you can choose to shuffle back 3 instead of shuffling back 2 Pokemons and 2 energies. So you don't get to choose for ordinary Rod, but you are actually shuffling back more cards compared to Super Rod, which is interesting. So they did Dino Cry on the last turn, and now they got, surprisingly, still don't have enough energies to attack. So they're forced to play Dino Cry a second time. And we're actually attacking with Druddigon right now. So I'm thinking maybe we should be playing Fire Off. We definitely should retreat on the next turn. If we retreat discarding the water energy though, we can play, we can actually Fire Off after playing the Basin and keep the water energy in our hand. I didn't actually do that though for this game just because I wanted to draw out the fire energy. I was pretty confident we were going to draw out another fire to attach from our hand onto the Cetitan, and keeping the water energy on the Druddigon means we get to use Revenge on the next turn after the knockout by only using the Magma Basin with Armarouge, and we even got an experience share on the Armarouge as well. So I feel like we're pretty solid for this game, but we could have done better if we discarded the water energy for the retreat cost and save the water from our hand, right? Because now we're actually forced to attach a second water onto the same Cetitan, which is not ideal, because now we're forced to get a Raihan just to charge up the next Cetitan. If we don't get a Raihan, we're going to be forced to attack with Druddigon, which is not actually doing as much damage as the Cetitan. 200 is a lot more, especially when they're playing Rock Chestplate. We can't afford to do less damage. So we got Arezu trying to dig for that fire energy before attaching from our hand. And there we go. We discarded 2 fire. At least we have 1 energy on Druddigon though. If we fire off 2 fire, if we fire off all the energies from the bench on this turn and attach the water from our hand, it would be the same thing though, wouldn't it? Oh no, it wouldn't be the same thing. If we attach the water from our hand onto the Druddigon and fire off 2 fire from our bench onto the active, we could have done experience share and then basin. Oh wait, it would be actually the same thing. It would actually be the same thing because we have 1 experience share in play. My bad. If we had 2 experience share in play, it would be a different story. Okay, here comes the knockout. Oh my goodness, they're actually gonna attach more energies? That is ridiculous. I think they were just messing with us because they definitely got a knockout this turn, but they are just pausing the turn, not doing anything because they know they already lost the game anyways. Might as well just give up. We just need the boss to finish them off. If they attack with the Great Tusk, if they put something else as the active like the Lucario, we just need to dig for the boss at some point in the game. We got Serena in our hand as well. We're not doing a knockout against the V-Star, but if they tank damage with like the Great Tusk, they are actually doing damage to itself. So I feel like they have no choice but to play the Lucario if they want to survive that turn. And then we got Serena to basically damage it a second time using our Druddigon or a second Cetitan. So I feel like we're pretty solid for the win. We can't play the Raihan with Serena though, so I feel like we need to play Druddigon if they did the Lucario V-Star. So on to the final game. We're up against Miraidon EX now. It's a pretty mild player though. It's not like a hardcore Miraidon EX. So I don't think we stand a good chance against a hardcore Miraidon. To be honest, because we're only doing 200 damage with sweeping tackle. We need the Defiance Band for 1 OHKO at some point in the game. And then we actually still need like Druddigon, Wobbuffet. I don't think Wobbuffet is going to do enough because they got 220 damage with you know, with the Miraidon. They can quite easily play Raikou for the knockout as well. If we don't have the Pot Helmet V-Guard, I don't think it's going to do anything. V-Guard is not actually working against Miraidon as well. So if they play Miraidon to attack, they can quite easily knock out Cetitan with 1 hit. And then Wobbuffet would have no value for this deck. We would have to rely on nothing but Druddigon and Raihan for a second Cetitan. Raihan or Experience Share. I prefer Experience Share though. That's the reason we're playing 2 copies. We have actually two of each. So if we don't get the Experience Share or Arven, we actually get to play Raihan. VIP on the first turn. Always a delicious feeling. Playing 4 copies, we should be getting one, right? If we don't get one, it would be dead weight throughout the whole game. But I don't really mind, because as long as we get our Nest Ball on the first turn or enough basics, it's actually a good deal. It's still a good deal because we got 4 Ultra Balls to discard our VIP later on in the game. We got our Greninja to draw cards as well if we get stuck with a dead hand. If we get like 3 VIP in our hand and 2 supporter cards, we can't play those supporter like a boss or Serena. We're actually forced to use up the Serena for the discard or just play Greninja for the draw support and possibly dig for the Ultra Ball before we are able to play Bibarel to draw cards. So there is a sequencing to it. Greninja is definitely going to help if we get stuck with a dead hand, because we got so many energies in the deck. So they got the special art Raikou from Crown Zenith, which is pretty interesting. They're playing a lot of Raikou for this deck. I'm not sure why. I think they need the draw support because they got no Bibarel, they got no space for... they have no speed energy, right? No more speed energy means they need the Raikou just to draw cards. Just in case they don't get the Research, the Serena, the, you know, Judge. If they don't get their supporter cards, they need Raikou for the Fleetfoot. So if they have 2 copies in play, they can actually switch and retreat to attack with something else. And play the Fleetfoot twice in a row using Beach Court and an Escape Rope or something. They need to do multiple switches though, just to draw 1 card, like at a time, which is not really that great. 2 cards per turn is not it's not worth playing that many switch cards for, is it? If you're playing Comfy, you get to basically dig through 4 cards though, right? If you play Flower Select twice, you're essentially digging through 4 cards from the deck. as opposed to Raikou only drawing one card at a time. So I don't think you should be playing that many switches if you are doing a Raikou deck. It makes sense for Comfy, but not for Raikou. Beach Court for sure, but I mean like the item switches. Okay, here comes the Magnezone. They actually have a heavy tanker in the game. They're probably playing the EX, because it wouldn't make sense for them to play the metal one. It will not make any sense, because they're playing a full-on electric deck with Generator and Flaffy. One Flaffy, one Ilaki for the damage boost, one Miraidon, two Raikous, and a Magnezone. Interesting. We got a boss that early in the game, which is kind of scary. We got Bibarel and Klara. What can we actually do though? We're forced to play the boss just to draw out the basin. I don't think we can do a knockout this turn, so might as well just pull out the Flaffy and do Hammer in twice for the knockout. If they get their switch though, it would be quite terrible. Beach Court doesn't work for Flaffy and is actually helping us, because if they get stuck for a couple turns, we got a knockout. They're probably going to finish off the Cetitan though, if we bench too many Pokemons. If they play the Generator on the Miraidon, they can quite easily finish off our Cetitan. No question. Unless if we have Lake Acuity. So Miraidon plays like 4 Beach Court in the deck. I don't think Lake Acuity is going to do anything. That's the reason we're not even bothering to play that stadium for this deck, because we know Miraidon is playing full-on 4 copies of Beach Court. There is just no point. They're going to do the Generator, they're going to Beach Court, retreat, and attack for 220 damage, using Miraidon for an instant knockout against the Titan. Pot Helmet's not going to do anything. V-Guard, Radiant Gardevoir, is doing 0 damage reduction. So there really is no point focusing on the high HP feature of this Pokemon. If we had like a water Gigatune, a water ability that adds HP for evolution Pokemon, something like that, it would be a lot of help for Cetitan, but we don't have that as yet for standard, not even for the next set, which is quite depressing, honestly. We used to have a Stadium card that adds 20 HP to all Stage 1 Pokemons. I'm not sure what it's called now. I think it's like something like Training Card, Trainer's Card or something. Training Card is obviously different though. Training Card allows you to search for retrieve a basic energy from a discard pile every single turn. But there is a card, something, a Trainer's Card or something that allows you to add 20 HP to your Stage 1 Pokemons, which is gonna help a lot for Cetitan, because we can actually tank 230 damage. They essentially need 230 damage to knock out Cetitan if we have a Pot Helmet. Here comes Raikou doing the knockout. They just need 1 bench. So they need 210 damage. Oh, they got the Ilaki though. They either need to bench a Pokemon or evolve the Ilaki. Oh, they got Tandem Unit. I forgot. They got Tandem Unit. They can play that ability every single turn. That's crazy, isn't it? It's a lot better than Stormy Mountain. Now, I'm just realizing that. Because they got Beach Court to remove Path to the Peak. So there's no issue with Miraidon. It's definitely the best deck right now in Standard. It's super turbo, and turbo is definitely the best strategy going forward for Standard, because if you can do early knockouts and draw prizes fast, you got the win. It's that easy. Anyways, we got our Basin for this turn. And we're going to do Klara for our Cetitan back. We actually need both the water energy though. Or do we? Because we got 2 more copies in the deck. You never know what is going to get prized though. Because they have a new system now. If you play your balls, you're not allowed to look at the other cards in your deck, but the Pokemons. So we don't actually know how many energies we have in the deck. We may have like both the other water energy prize, and that would be quite terrible if we don't get the Raihan or the experience share. If we play the experience share on the Cetitan, we got the water energy. If we play it on the Armarouge, we don't have the water. We can't actually retrieve the water onto the Armarouge. It doesn't work with the ability. Because they're not allowed to move anything but fire energies with fire off, unfortunately, from the bench. We got another Basin. We got Defiance Band in our hand. We should be fine. They're attacking with another Raikou though. I'm not sure why. They should be hitting with the Miraidon. Because, you know, we can't actually knock out the Miraidon with 1 hit. They got more than enough energies to attack with the Miraidon. Because they did electric generator on the last turn. Getting so many energies. They just need 1 from their hand right now to attack with the EX. And if they knock us out with the EX, we can't actually finish off the Miraidon with 1 hit. Because Defiance Band is not going to work since we have less prize remaining than our opponent. We need to wait until we got more prizes remaining, which is not gonna help us because we are down to 3 prize. We shouldn't be waiting for them to get extra prizes before playing the attack. It makes no sense. So Defiance Band is not always a good card to play for a deck. Doesn't always work. We just need 1 remaining prize after this, because we got a knockout against Raikou. But the remaining 1 prize is going to be quite difficult though, because they're probably going to attack with the VMAX and then switch out to the Miraidon, forcing us to finish off the EX for the win. And we actually need 3 more hits. We need 3 more hits to win the game just to draw that 1 prize. Or we just need the boss. The boss and Escape Rope at the right time. Escape Rope I don't think is going to help us though, because they're probably just going to bench another EX or evolve the second VMAX, because they have a second Elaki on the bench right now. And they just need to evolve another VMAX. Play the Poncho and we can't do a boss, right? So if we got the boss though, we just need to pull out either the Magneton or the Flaffy. Definitely the Flaffy, because, you know, it's going to evolve. Magneton is going to evolve into the EX. We have to target a Flaffy for the final prize. They definitely play the cards wrong, because using that many Raikous, giving us that many prizes, is definitely a silly move. So now we just need the boss, but I have no idea how to get it out. Oh wait, we played the boss already though. We already played the boss against the first Flaffy. So unfortunately, if they do the Poncho, we can't play the Serena. Do we have the Serena inside the deck still? Defiance Band is not going to help for this game, because we have 1 prize remaining. There's no way we can use the effect now. Because there's no such thing as 0.5 prize, unfortunately. They got Choice Belt. The full art, the special art Flaffy from Crown Zenith. Wait, Silver Tempest, I think. Pretty sure I have that. Looks so cool. Elisa's Flaffy. Cute little doll Flaffy. And here comes the Miraidon. Interestingly enough, they're not playing the VMAX to attack. It definitely could tank a lot more damage though. So if they don't evolve the second Elaki, we just need the Escape Rope for the win. They're probably going to evolve the Magnezone though. You never know if they're playing only 1 copy. If they have only 1 copy of the EX, they could have it prized, and that means they can't evolve the Magneton. And all we need is an Escape Rope to win the game. If they attack with the VMAX on the next turn, they definitely have to. They have no choice. Oh wait, we got the Serena though. We have the Serena. If they don't evolve the second VMAX, we just need to play Serena on the next turn for the knockout. We could have done the knockout this turn. Funnily enough, we could have actually win the game already if we put the Cetoddle onto the active. But it's too late for that. It's actually too late for that because we don't even have... Oh, we don't have enough energies though. We don't have the experience share on the last turn. Unfortunately, we weren't actually able to do it. We had the experience share on the Druddigon, so we could have done, we could have retrieved the fire energy and then played a basin, put the Cetoddle into the active, and then evolve it this turn to play the Serena. We would still need like a water energy from our hand in addition to the Serena, so I don't think it's that easy. In addition to the foresight of having, you know, of predicting getting a Serena from the top deck, I don't think we would be that lucky. So all we need to do is dig for the last water energy and then play the Serena against the 𝘿𝙘𝙀 on the bench, hopefully, if they don't evolve. Or if they bench another V card. It has to be a V though. If they bench another EX, we're done for. They probably have the second VMAX though, but they are playing that many evolutions. I'm just not sure if they're gonna get it. They got the stage 2, Fluffy, and the VMAX. And they actually bench another Raikou, which is very silly because Serena is still in the game. This is definitely a beginner right here because they're just not aware that we could quite easily play a Serena. I normally play one boss and one Serena in my deck. I don't play more than one boss. If you guys are familiar with my videos, I don't like playing that many bosses, but I guess they were expecting us to have more than one boss, and might as well just bench another V card, but we don't actually have a second boss. We have only a Serena. So all they need to do is evolve the VMAX and not bench another Pokemon. We got the knockout here, right? We got the Serena. We definitely got a knockout here. I'm not sure why we're taking so long. Oh, they finished off the Cetoddle. They finished off the Cetitan. So now we only got 160 damage. Oh, but we got Greninja though. Oh my gosh, this is actually an epic win. This is actually the epic win where we played Moonlight Shuriken with Armarouge and Raihan. We got Raihan for the... Okay, we got Raihan for double water energy on the same turn, and then we just need to fire off one fire from the bench onto the Greninja, and we got Moonlight Shuriken to finish off the Miraidon, because we did, I think we did 200 damage on the last turn with the Titan on the Miraidon, and now we just need 90 damage to finish it off. Oh, they got 60 more HP though. So that means we did Revenge. We did Revenge on the last turn, and now we just need to finish it off with Moonlight Shuriken, and we even got an extra knockout on the Fluffy. Look at that. We got 3 prize this turn. That is epic, yo. We actually did Moonlight Shuriken with an Ice Fire deck. With the Titan Armarouge, and we managed to play Moonlight Shuriken. That's a first. I never thought we would actually pull it off. Radiant Greninja for the knockout. Winning the game with a bench snipe. That is delicious, yo. So that's all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Have a great day and bye from the people. Enjoy your life.